4 months and 10 days, 4 months and 10 days from now, so that a full legally valid text for that goal would need to be ready by the end of October at the latest in order to leave sufficient time to the Council and to the European Parliament on our side to approve. We therefore still have 2 months left to find agreement on all the issues under discussion, to consolidate the text and to finalize all the technical annexes, which are far from negligible, and then to have our legal experts verify and validate the text in all the language versions. This is a long and complex task. Any delay beyond the end of October would entail a risk, a serious risk, as to the successful outcome of this process. In this context, those who were hoping for negotiations to move swiftly forward this week will have been disappointed. And unfortunately, I too am frankly disappointed and concerned and surprised as well, I must say, because the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson told us in June that he wished to speed up the negotiating process during the summer. But this week, once again, as in the July round, the British negotiators have not shown any real willingness to move forward on issues of fundamental importance for the European Union, and this despite the flexibility which we have shown over recent months in terms of taking on board and working with the 3 red lines which Boris Johnson himself set out in June, namely on the role of the European Court of Justice, UK legislative autonomy, and on fisheries. We still haven't seen from our British partners any willingness to take on board the EU's priorities. Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing surprising whatsoever about the EU's priorities, because they have not changed since 2017. If I could invite you to have a look again at the conclusions of the European Council, resolutions of the European Parliament, we have said repeatedly since 2017 what are our priorities for a balanced and fair agreement with the United Kingdom. And we continue with great patience and goodwill to repeat these. We must have a fair, any trade agreement must go hand in hand with fair standards, mutually agreed standards, a level playing field. We then need, secondly, we need to have a long-term perspective for European fishermen, and thirdly, there won't be any cherry-picking. We won't have a la carte access to the internal market because of Brexit. Britain refuses to accept the rules and obligations of the internal market. Brexit means Brexit. These are not dogmatic or technocratic or ideological approaches by the European Union. There's nothing tactical about this. We have to put this point across clearly. Underscoring these priorities, which we have repeated over the last 4 years, we have human, social, economic, environmental needs to defend, which remain of fundamental importance for us and which we have to defend. Let me take a very tangible example, that of road freight transport. And this is something which in the United Kingdom, we've seen this in recent days in the British press, has given rise to a lot of emotion. 4 years after the Brexit referendum vote, what is happening are the clear and direct consequences of the Brexit vote. No one should be surprised at that in Britain. Road transport is a key sector for our economies. It represents millions of jobs in Europe, and it is a sector which also has a direct impact on logistical costs for our businesses, prices paid by consumers, has a direct impact on pollution and climate, and indeed on road safety as well.